Have you ever gone somewhere and thought you understood the place until you actually got there? Before this trip, for me, Japan meant one thing: snow, deep snow, quiet mountains, everything you picture when you think of riding in the perfect conditions. And Tokyo, if I'm being honest, I felt like that was something I could take or leave. I was thinking less time in the city meant more time on the mountains. But that's not how it actually played out. When you first get to a place like Tokyo, it hits you all at once. The peace, the people, the lights, the order inside of what seemingly feels like chaos. Everything is moving, but somehow nothing feels out of place. And at the same time, you're trying to take it all in, but you can't. Not fully, because it's too much. You start doing that thing we all do, comparing. This is better, this is different, this is how things should be. And without realizing it, you stop actually experiencing it. Because instead of being present, you're processing. Instead of seeing it, you're taking it in to understand it. And those are two very different things. Looking back now, some of the moments that stayed with me the most weren't on the mountains. They were in Tokyo, walking through the city, grabbing food, watching how people moved and interacted, just existed. There's a rhythm to it, a balance. And you don't really notice it until you step away from it. I thought Tokyo was separate from the trip, but it wasn't. It was part of what made the whole trip make sense. Because when we got to the mountains, everything slowed down, quiet, intentional, simple. And I don't think I would have appreciated that the same way without seeing the other side of it first. The contrast is what made it clear. The city showed you the pace. The mountains showed you the peace. And somewhere between the two, that's where the experience actually lives. And for me, that changed the whole trip. Because I went there thinking it was all about riding. But I left realizing it was never about that. Being able to take a trip like that to a place like Japan, to experience both sides of it, that's not normal. That's not guaranteed. That's something you don't always fully understand when you're in it. And that's probably the biggest takeaway, not just from this trip, but from anything like it. You don't need to understand everything. You don't need to process everything. Sometimes you just need to be there. Because when it's over and you finally have the space to look back at it, that's when it all starts to make sense. Tokyo was more than I expected, and Japan was everything I hoped for. And the combination of the two is something I won't forget. Have you ever been somewhere that felt fast, but didn't actually feel rushed? Walking through the streets of Tokyo during the day, you expect to feel chaotic. Crowded streets, people everywhere, constant movement. And it's all of that. But somehow it isn't, because everything is moving, but nothing feels out of control. No one's bumping into each other, no one's forcing their way through, it just flows. And after a while, you start to notice something. It's not fast in a way you think it is. It's just consistent. Everybody's moving with purpose, but no one's rushing. And that's a strange feeling, especially coming from somewhere where fast usually means frantic. At first, you don't quite understand it. You just feel it. You're walking through it. You're trying to keep up with it. You're trying to make sense of it. But the more time you spend in it, the more it slows down. Not because the city's changed, but because your perception did. What felt overwhelming at first starts to feel neutral. And that's when you realize this place isn't fast, it's efficient. There's no wasted movement, no unnecessary friction.
One of the most organized
Everything has
I've
a
ever
place,
seen.
everything has a rhythm. It's crowded, but it moves almost slowly. Not physically, but mentally. Because once you stop trying to fight it, you fall into it. It's the same thing on the mountain. When you're tense, everything feels fast, uncontrollable, unpredictable. But when you settle in, when you trust your edges, the same speed feels smooth, almost slow. Speed isn't always about how fast things are moving. Sometimes it's about how stable we are inside of them. And walking through Tokyo, that's what stood out to me the most. Not the lights, not the crowds, but how everything just worked without forcing it. And maybe that's something we miss, not just in travel, but in life in general. We think things need to slow down for us to feel in control, but sometimes the answer isn't slowing down. It's learning how to move within it. Because once you do, what felt overwhelming doesn't disappear, it just makes sense. Fast doesn't always mean chaos. Like we say in the military, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. I'm Blair, and this is the Dirtbag Association, where our wax is old, our knees are older, but the stoke doesn't melt. See you on the mountain.
I don't ask for too much.